discuss Forest Act 1927. Forests are playing an important role in molding and shaping the human life. These forests literally means a large number of, that is area of land which is covered with trees. And these forests are regarded as the assets of nation because they are having immense economic value. They provide timber, then furniture, instruments. They are acting as a place of habitat for wildlife and the place of flora and fauna, that is biodiversity and its products. And also it is also playing an important role in watershed and in regulating water regimes, conservation of soil and control the floods, purify the air by releasing carbon dioxide into the purify the air by releasing oxygen into the air. That is it is the that is sink of called as carbon dioxide because it produces, it is carbon dioxide through this photosynthesis and releases oxygen to the human beings. In that way, that is this over exploitation of these forests and habitat constitute a threat to the rich forest. As these forests, due to industrialization, man is using more and more forest producers in the form of raw materials or cutting of woods for the purpose of fuel, and thereby that is releasing tons of carbon dioxide into the nature. Thereby that is destruction of forest and degradation. Then this forest was divided into three divisions. One is called as reserved forest, protected forest, and third one is the village forest. Now we'll go with what is called as reserved forest. Reserved forest here, the state government may declare any forest area or any wasteland over that it is having the proprietary rights and it is the property of government. What is called as reserved forest. Then the state government appoints a forest settlement officer in order to inquire and to determine the existence of any rights or the nature and extent of the rights of any persons who are in favor of that land or any forest produce. Once the notification is issued, then no person has the right to acquire over that land, except the person can make use of that land only for the purpose, that is exceptions or that is succession or under the grant of or contract in writing made or entered on behalf of the government, or such right was vested at the time of notification of this reserved forest. Second step. The third one is it also prohibits that is fresh clearing of for cultivation or any other purpose shall be made on such land. Then when notification is issued, the forest settlement officer should publish, that is the proclamation with regarding to the reserve forest in any local language in any town or village which is in the neighborhood of the land, and to make proclamation. This proclamation must contain the situation and the extent of rights of the persons and the limits of the proposed forest and the consequences of that proclamation. And if any person which is claiming within 3 months from the date of that is proclamation, he must either to present a written notice to the forest settlement officer specifying the nature of the right and his extent of his right over that and then the amount and the particulars of the compensation to be paid. That must be in the form of writing. Then he will conduct, that is the forest settlement officer will conduct inquiry about any rights and to ensure from the government records and evidence of any person likely acquainted with that claim. After this procedure, if the forest settlement officer found that nobody is claiming on that area or has a knowledge of that rights, then the rights will be extinguished or disappeared. The forest officer either may admit or may reject the claim of any person, because it is left to the forest settlement officer. If he admitted, such land will be excluded from the list of reserved forest area, or he may, that is the forest settlement officer, he himself may come into agreement with the owner for surrendering of that land or rights with that, or he may proceed to acquire such land as provided in the Land Acquisition Act. Then appeal can be made by any claimant or any forest officer or specifically empowered by the government within 3 months from the date of proclamation by the forest settlement officer. A person may present an appeal from such order not lower than that of the collector or the revenue department. The state government may establish forest court composed of 3 persons appointed by the state government. The decision is final and it based on the majority of the members of the such court. Then again it also provides that there should not be any kind of alienation, that is transfer of that land either in the way of sale, lease or mortgage with any regard to timber or any forest produce. These are the powers of the forest settlement officer. First he will make notification, the state government will make notification, then the settlement officer, he will inquire and determine any persons who are having the rights over that, and once he has satisfied, if any person is there, then either that will be given the form of surrender, or he may makes that money to the person, or he may according to the that is Land Acquisition Act, he will give that property. But once notification is made with regard to this reserve forest, no person has the right to claim over that land. If any person want to claim only with regard to the succession, or that is if the property is transferred or contract made with a government, in that way, that is the settlement officer is having the power to proclaim over that land. Then the acts prohibited, it is reserve forest. What are the acts which are prohibited? Section 23 deals with, there are certain acts which are prohibited under the reserve forest. That is with regard to fresh clearing of that land, that is land clearing for any cultivation or any purpose is prohibited, or setting of fire to that area, or the trespass or the pasture of that is cattle, which is prohibited. Then any causes, that is damage by negligence or by felling of trees, cutting, dragging of any timber is prohibited, or felling of trees, burns to any tree, or strips of the barks or the damages, that is quarries of stone, burning for lime, charcoal, or collects or removes any forest produce, or clears or break up any land for cultivation or any other purpose in contravention of any rules made in this behalf by the state government with regarding to hunting, shooting, or fisheries, or poisoning of water, which is also prohibited. Lastly, that is in any area in which the Elephants Preservation Act 1879 is not in force, that is killing or capturing of elephants are also, that is contravention to these rules. If any person makes, the person will be punishable and for the imprisonment of a term extend to 6 months or with fine. This is about reserve forest. Next one, we go with the second category of this Forest Act, protected forest. Again here, the state government may declare any area through its notification the forest land or the wasteland which is not included in the reserve forest. It is a protected forest other than the area which is in the forest area, that is reserve forest, that will be considered as by the government through its notification as protected forest. Again, with regarding to reserve forest, here also the state government may inquire the nature and any extent of any rights with regarding to those rights with regard to that protected forest area. If any person who is having the right over the land or the record, if it is found, then the state government may declare any trees or class of trees in a protected forest not exceeding 30 years, and the rights of the private persons over such a portion shall be suspended, because the state government will notify those protected areas, forest areas, for 30 years. Over that, no person is having the right over that. Then it also prohibits the quarrying of stones, burning of lime in charcoal, or the collection or manufacturing process, removal of any forest produce, the breaking or clearing of cultivation, building, herding of cattle, or any other purpose. These are certain acts which are prohibited in the protected forest. Then the state government is having the power to make rules in this protected forest for the purpose of cutting of the trees, conversion and removal of trees, and timber and collection, manufacture and removal of forest produce, then granting of licenses to inhabitants of the towns or villages in the vicinity of the forest, timber or forest produce for their own use. That is, license is granted to the persons who are residing near that forest area. They can make use of that timber or or any forest produce for their own use. To that extent, it gives license. It also grant license to the persons felling for the purpose of felling of trees or removing of trees or timber or other forest produce. It also examines the forest produce and passing out such forest. The clearing and breaking of land for cultivation or other purpose is also prohibited. The protection of timber from fire and trees reserved, that should not be done. Either the cutting of grass, pasturing of cattle in these areas is prohibited. Hunting, shooting, fishing, poisoning water, that is what we are already that is discussed in this reserve forest. In this protected forest also, these acts are prohibited. But that is forests are protected for certain special purpose. Again, that the state government may by its notification, it may regulate or prohibit either again the breaking of land or clearing of land for cultivation, pasturing of cattle, firing or clearing of vegetation. It also makes regulation or prohibition for the purpose of, that is, it protects against the storms, winds, rolling of stones, then for preservation of soil in the valleys of hilly region, the prevention of landslips, and or for protection of lands against erosion, deposit of sand and stones. Next one, last one is what is called as village forest. Under village forest, again the state government, it may assign certain rights to the village community over that land which is situated near that village. That's what is called as a village forest. This the state government may make rules for that is for regarding the management of the forest, and also it may regulate by making certain rules. It may prescribe conditions in relation of forest produce and timber, their duties for the protection and improvement of such forest which are given to the, that is the village community. That is what is called as village forest. Today we will discuss about Forest Conservation Act 1980. Due to this deforestation, or that is making forest deterioration, it is this Forest Conservation Act was passed in 1980 in the object of to check up or to prevent further deterioration from the deforestation. That is, this consists of certain features that the object is to prevent further deterioration with regard to deforestation. The select features of this act are, this act was came into 1980. That is, it is the purpose is to conserve the forest and for the matters which are connected in that forest, as well as that is the acts which are incidental to that act. What is I already said? There is a conservation of these forests and certain other matters with relating to the forest. First, that is feature is that restriction on use of forest land into non-forest land. The first thing in this, there is certain restrictions were made on use of forest land, which is converted in the form of non-forest land. In this case, that is forest land which is to be prohibited for the purpose of clearing or breaking up of any land which is situated in the forest areas, or a portion for the purpose of cultivation like tea, rubber, coffee, palms, oil bearing plants, horticulture, crops or medicinal plants, or for any other purpose other than reforestation. For reforestation, this that is forest land can be used, but that is restriction of that forest land only for these reasons. Either may be cultivation like crops like coffee, tea, rubber, and that is oil bearing plants like palm oil, or the horticulture, crops or medicinal plants. One. Second one, this non-forest land, what already said, that is the object is to restrict the forest land with the conversion of non-forest land. For this non-forest land does not include, that is the land which is used for the purpose of, either for the purpose of establishment of check post, fire lines, wireless communications and construction of fencing, bridges, dams, roads or water holes or boundary marks, pipelines and other purposes, does not include that is that forest land which is used for the purpose of that is the forest land into non-forest land. Means these non-forest land which includes, that is other than that is cultivation, other purposes, this land can be converted in for the purpose of these purposes. Then the third one is that it constitutes advisory committee. The advisory committee, it was established by central government, and it that is advise the government whether to grant that is approval for the preservation of forest or for the or use of forest for non-forest land. Either that land can be given for non-forest land or not. For that purpose, this committee was established by the central government. This is the features of, that is, the Forest Conservation Act 1972. This Wildlife Protection Act 1972 was passed by Indian Parliament in pursuance of the International Convention, which already you know that convention was held in, that is, 1972 in Stockholm Declaration. In that convention, in order to implement that convention, that is, Indian Parliament, that is, Indian Constitution has made amendment under two articles, 48A and 51A to G. That is, these two articles which are impose certain duties or obligation on both the individual as well as the state to protect and to improve the environment, including wildlife, forest and lakes and others. Then what is the object of this Wildlife Protection Act? The object is to have a uniform legislation all over the country. One. Second one, to establish certain protected areas. These protected areas as sanctuaries and that is national parks. Third one is to regulate illicit trade with regarding to wildlife and its products. Wildlife products, you know that it is horns or that is tusks and skin others. In this way, that is, this Wildlife Protection Act 1972 was passed. Then we will go with, that is, what is the nature of this Wildlife Act? Hunting of wild animals. Under this, the state government may declare by its notification that is through that notification, it prohibits hunting of wild animals, and it also gives, with the permission of the chief wildlife warden, hunting animals of becoming more dangerous to human life or property, or the animals which are disabled or diseased or beyond recovery. Such animals can be killed or can be, that is, destroyed to that extent. Hunting of wild animals is permitted under section 18 of this act. Then permissions permission for also given to the under Wildlife Act for education, scientific research, translocation of any wild animal from one place to another place, or collection of specimens for recognized zoos or museums, or collection or for preparation or for, that is, or manufacture of any life-saving drugs. In this way, that is, hunting of animals will be permitted by chairman, wildlife chief warden, sorry. Then that is with regard to this, that is what I already said, that is the object is to cover or to protect these sanctuaries and national parks. That is a protected areas. These are considered as protected areas, and that the state government may declare by its notification certain areas as sanctuaries, and the state government by it can declare that its intention is to constitute any area other than the area which is covered or comprised with any reserved forest or the territorial waters. It can declare that area as a sanctuary, that area which does not come under either territorial waters or with that is reserved forest. Reserved forest, already said, that is the state government can declare any area as its own property. That property, on that property, no person is having the right over that property. Then second one, then if the state government, if it considers that such area is adequate for the, that is ecological, means that place is for the that is sufficient having what is called as flora and fauna, or that is natural resources, or that is that land is for the purpose of protecting or propagating or developing wildlife, or it's that is that is entrances. In such cases, that is the state government may declare such land as sanctuaries, and the state government appoints an officer to act as a collector to inquire and to determine the existence or nature and extent of any rights over that land. That is before declaring that area as sanctuary, that is the government that is appoints one person as a collector and an officer, and his duty is to inquire and to determine the existence of the nature and extent of rights of any person over that area which is considered as a sanctuary. Then that is after appointing that, it is a collector. The collector has the power to proclaim in regional language in any that is in any forum within the near that town or villages, and if any person climbs over that is area, there is an area which is to be proclaimed to be sanctuary. If any person climbs his appearance before this collector, and if they same makes that that is they are having the that is the possession over that land, if it is made in writing and specify the rights of the that person, then either it is a discretion of the collector either to admit those facts or may reject. That is what is called as sanctuaries with regard to that the rights and duties of the collector. Next to then that is this sanctuary can be that is restricted for the purpose of entry into that. There are certain restrictions are made. That is only the public servant who is on duty or a person who is permitted by the chief wildlife warden or any authorized officer to reside within that limits of the sanctuary. That is only those persons are having the power to enter into that sanctuary. If the person who has the right over that immovable property within that limits of the sanctuary, or if a person who is passing through that that is the sanctuary along with the highway, and the dependents of the persons who are mentioned in the first three categories, they shall enter or reside in the sanctuary. They are permitted to enter the premises of this sanctuary. And the person who is making investigation or study of wildlife, and the persons who are that is making investigation ancillary or incidental to that research or photography or scientific research or tourism or transaction of lawful business with any person residing in such that is sanctuary, the person can be granted, permission can be granted only on the prior consent of the chief wildlife warden. Then it's also prohibited for any kind of destruction of any animal in the sanctuary or exploitation or removal of any wildlife including forest produce. To that extent, these sanctuaries are permitted and as well as it is prohibited certain purposes. Next one, national park. As already said, national park is also one of the kind of protected area. Under this Wildlife Protection Act 1972, the state government may declare an area if it feels that that area is within that August. That is the area which is in that state government, or that is not in sanctuary. That the area which is not under the land of or area of sanctuary. That is, the state government may declare as a national park such area if it feels that, or if it deems that that area is covered with ecological, means natural resources, or faunal, or that is fauna and flora, or geomorphological or zoological association, or its importance. In such cases, the state government may declare such that area as that national park, whether that area within, whether maybe within that sanctuary area or may not. But if it covers that area is with regarding to ecological resources, or the flora and fauna, or the habitat for animals, which is that place is suitable for the living being of for the living of these animals, then the state can declare such area as that is sanctuaries, as the national parks. The purpose is to protect, propagate, and develop this wildlife. Then once it is that is declared as the national park, then no alteration of the boundaries is permitted. Then it also restricts, prohibits the destruction or exploitation or removing of any wildlife, including forest produce from that sanctuaries. This is about, in this question may be important with regard to the examination, sanctuaries or national parks, and that is the one questions maybe for short note questions. The last point with this Wildlife Protection Act, cruelty to animals. It is one question again maybe for 8 marks question or like short question. Cruelty to animals. What is meant by cruelty to animals? Under this Cruelty to Animals 1860 Act, sorry, 1960. It is the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals 1960. The object of this act is to declare certain types of cruelty to animals as offences. Under section 11 of Cruelty to Animals Act, it deals with certain acts constitute as offences. If any person beats any animal, or kicks that, or if makes overrides that animal, or overdrives, for example excess of that is goods using on that animal, or overloads, or makes any torture, or treats that animal which is unnecessary for that is treats that animal as to suffer that is pain or that is sufferings, then if the employer that is employs that animal for any labor, or for by its by reason of its age or disease or infirmity or wound, or if it is makes for unfit as to employ that animal for that purpose, then such that owner will be considered as the offence, or he will be punished. Then if the person who has willfully or unreasonably administers by any injurious drugs or any substance, or if the person who is unreasonably causes any that is animal pain or sufferings, or if the person conveys or carries on that animal any vehicle in such a manner that making that animal unnecessary pain or sufferings, or if the person keeps that is the birds, for example, in case of confines or any animal in the cage, or that is in such position that bird cannot sufficient means in height or length or the breadth of that cage for the movement of that animal, or if the person keeps that animal with a chain, for example in case of dogs, or that if any person neglects or exercise that is caused to be habitually chained or closed confinement, or the person that is if the person failed to provide proper food and drinks or the shelter to that animal, being the owner of that animal, or if the person who causes that is abandons that animal in such circumstance that makes that is animal to suffer pain and starvation or thirst, and if the person who is willfully permits any animal that is to go and to affected with the contagious or infectious disease, and if the person who makes for offers for sale, or in such cases it is amount to cruelty to animals, and the person will be punished. That is the punishment or the imprisonment if it makes the first offense, it shall not less than that is 10 rupees, but it may extend to 50 rupees in case of second or subsequent that is offences, or with imprisonment for a term which extend to 3 months or both. In this case, it is what is called as cruelty to animals. This is about Wildlife Protection Act 1972.